He chose his team, he deals with the consequences. Okay, I hear that, so let's sack him. And in 12 months' time, when we've got a different manager in, he will be thrown under the bus and you'll be saying the exact same fucking thing. I guarantee it. Because nobody gives a fuck, aside from the managers that these players have been throwing under the bus time after time after time. Look what they did to Mourinho. Look what they did to Ollie. Don't get me started on Ralph Rangnick. People can slag him off all they want. But look at the leaks from the dressing room. They threw him under the bus. And now they're doing exactly the same fucking thing with Erik ten Hag. And I can guarantee you, if we got rid of him tomorrow and we brought in a brand new manager, we could bring in the best manager you've ever seen. And in 12 months' time, these players would be throwing him under a bus. And they do that because there's no incentive for him to perform. Nothing is earned at this football club. Everything is just given to the players. I mean, just look at the fucking wages. Casemiro and Varane, I can sort of understand why you'd have to pay those players quite a lot of money, because you've brought them from one of the most successful teams in recent times in the world, the best team in the world in recent years, to a team that is massively struggling, and you're asking them to come here and do a job for you. So I can understand why you've had to pay them so much money. So if you put them two to one side, Marcus Rashford, he's been playing in the first team now for 8 years? He's maybe had 3 or 4 half-decent seasons. His last season was probably his best season he's had in 8 years. But yet rewarding him with 300 grand a week. For what? For what exactly? A good 6 months? Like, what are we doing here? Jadon Sancho walks through the door, doesn't even have to kick a ball, and he gets 250 grand a week. And I actually think that's wrong because he's on 300 grand a week. Mason Mount, not kicked a ball, 250 grand a week. Who's giving players these contracts? And aside from Mason Mount, all the players that Erik ten Hag has brought in, funnily enough, are the only ones that seem to give a shit. And look at how much wages they're on. You might see a theme here. Amrabat, 65 grand a week. Reguilon, 53 grand a week. Højlund, 85 grand a week. Onana, 120. Martinez, 120. Who else has he brought in? Christian Eriksen. He brought in on a free, by the way, 150 grand a week. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And then you look at Harry Maguire, who's been here for how many years? He walked through the door, justified 200 grand a week. For what? A good season at Leicester? Bruno Fernandes is the captain of this football team. He's carried us on his back for how many years now? He's not even top 5 in terms of earnings at this football club. And he's done more than every single one of these players above him for this club. He's done more for this football club in the past 3.5, 4 years than any of the other football players on this list. Plus a lot that we've got rid of as well, by the way. And when I say there's no incentive, there's no direction from the people higher up in this club. This is exactly what I'm talking about. When you bring all these players in and you're paying them 200, 250, 300 grand a week, 350 grand a week, there is zero incentive for them to excel, to earn something. And you're just accepting mediocrity. Nothing is earned at this football club based on merit. Everything is just given to the football players. And people wonder why they don't give a shit. It's nothing to do with the fucking managers. The managers have come in, and every single one of them over the past 6, 7 years has been thrown under a bus by the players because they have no incentive to perform. So therefore, they just turn up, collect the paycheck, and just fuck off home. And funnily enough, over the past year, the standout players in this list are the ones that ain't even earning that much. Plus maybe 1 or 2 that maybe are earning a lot. Casemiro's a good example. But like I said before, he's earned that due to his previous career at Real Madrid. Marcus Rashford, 300 grand a week. For what? Someone tell me how he's earned 300 grand a week. Mohamed Salah is on that kind of money. And he's been one of the best players in the world for 4, 5 years? Marcus Rashford, he was maybe one of the best players in Europe for 6 months last year. 300 grand a week. It's a fucking joke, trust me. You're never going to get a performance or a consistent performance from the majority of these players that are on this much money because there's zero incentive for them. And that incentive needs to come from the people higher up. That's why we need to stop the owners just shitting money away, just pissing money up the wall, left, right and centre. I have to sit here and apparently have to say, oh, these are great owners because they just spend all the club's money. Not their own money. the club's money, by pissing it up the wall, by rewarding mediocrity, by giving too much money to the wrong people to spend on the wrong players, and then giving them players way too much money. There's no incentive, no direction. Nobody's willing to come out and take responsibility for any of it. No, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. And the only person that does give a shit, all the fans want to throw under a bus and get rid of him, just to get somebody else in and just to have the exact same conversation when it doesn't work yet again. Because the problem goes much deeper than just the manager. And I've just realised I never mentioned Anthony in the video, and all the dickheads in the comments will say, oh, you conveniently left out Anthony. No, I didn't. I just forgot about him. And the reason why he's on 200 grand a fucking week is because it took too long for the fucking people that sort out the transfers and the contracts to get the deal over the line. Again, showing their showing their incompetency. Time after time after time. He was getting 30 grand a week, or whatever it was, 60 grand a week, whatever it was, at Ajax. We sign him so late on in the transfer window and then say, oh, there you go, there's 200 grand a week. Why? But even then, even that Erik ten Hag signing that's on too much money, you can say whatever you want about his quality, but overall, he's shown me more in terms of effort, in terms of motivation, in terms of commitment and attitude than fucking pretty much any United player that has come in previous to Erik ten Hag. Pretty much all of them.